What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. A 3-0 sweep yesterday on the picks that I gave you guys. I've got another 3 picks which I'll put down that I'm going to take you through today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
So we cashed out on 3 different picks yesterday. Mark Williams over 1.5 assists. Jalen Johnson over 9.5 rebounds. Isaiah Collier over 11.5 rebounds and assists. We got it done. A lot of the leans that I shared with you, we cashed those as well. Now, normally, when these free picks be cashed, VIP be going crazy. But how did VIP do yesterday? Average. We pretty much had a break-even day, regardless how well I did on the straight bets. Just yesterday, couldn't get those value plays to bank. Now, it's a positive sign that the straight reads have been pretty good over the last 2 days. I think 12 and 5. But one thing that you guys need to keep in mind for those of you who are tailing value plays, or something that I need to remember, is that the value plays or the risky stuff, really, it hits at a 27% hit rate. That's off a sample size of 500 bets this season. A lot of people might react to recent results and be like, I'm not playing value plays anymore, and that's fine. You can do that. But you have to keep in mind, those are the second most profitable type of bet that I do. 30% ROI on the value plays. The doubles combos, a 67% return on your investment, and that's just your value plays put together. So I'm playing the long game. At the end of the day, I'm playing these single bets to just give me the money to throw down at risky stuff. If the risky stuff doesn't come off, I'm happy with that. This NBA season and every NBA season, it's an absolute grind. Actually, sports betting in general, it's just a grind. You better be consistent. You got to be disciplined, and that's what I'm aiming to do. Let's recap the whole day. 6 and 3 in the straight bets. We had Jared Allen over 26.5 points and rebounds. Only played 22 minutes against the Phoenix Suns. Bloody blew them out of the water. He was playing great, but the blowout I didn't see happening. So that sucked. Steph Curry over 23.5 points. The volume was high, but he didn't see the minutes. Again, because of a blowout, the Celtics absolutely hammering Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. So that sucked. And then Nick Richards, I took him over 9.5 rebounds. He didn't see the minutes that I expected. And when he did see minutes, that was when the Suns were getting absolutely pumped. So he barely got the rebound opportunities. So it sucks. The 3 straight bets that I lost on, all related to a blowout. So I guess I've got to do a better job of taking that into consideration. Although I did consider it, I didn't think it could happen, but clearly it did, and I was wrong. But we did hit a lot of those winners. So outside of the 3 bets that I shared with you guys, ran a couple of other bets, which I shared as leans in the last video. Onyeka Okongwu over 10.5 points, Kristaps Porzingis over 17.5 points, Trey Murphy over 21.5 points. And I also had those 3 in a parlay that was plus 512. You can see it right here. It was an absolute sweat. Especially with Trey Murphy. I'm glad that thing went into OT. CJ McCollum was going crazy. He was not passing that thing. Trey Murphy not getting the volume I expected, but he got there in the end, finished with 24 points, turned $50 into $315. But on top of that, we ran all of these bets at $100 each. So pretty decent reads there. I was happy with that. But if you're interested in trialing out VIP, get an entry into the Vivid Picks giveaway, and you'll get a trial on the VIP. Sign up to Vivid Picks, use my codes below, deposit $5, send me an email, and I'll get you guys straight in. Once we hit 50 referrals, $100 to 3 different people. Just be sure to use the code Daft. Now, if you can't get any of the apps that I'm partnering up with, feel free to just send me an email. I'll do what I can to hook you up. Now, enough about that. Let's get into these 3 bets. Let's go. So we're jumping into props madness. These are the best 2 you're going to find if you like NBA player props. You get a free trial. You use the code below, or the link below, sorry. Use the code DAFT. You get 25% off when you happen to sign up. It's got all the advanced filters. I use it every single day, every single video. You can see that. And if you ever need any help, you can reach out to me. I'll do what I can to support you. I've got 3 different picks. We're looking at 3 different big men today. I'll also be doing a value play. I'm assuming the comment from the last video got over 100 likes. And as promised, we'll get a value play out. We'll try to do it every single day. Damn, I just checked it. More than 100 likes, easy. 311 likes. Like some of you guys said, I should have put the benchmark higher. So I'll go through the 3 player props today, and I'll take you through one of the value plays as well. So the first one that we're looking at is in this game between the Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors. And today I'm going to run with someone who's been pretty consistent as of late. We're not looking at Banchero. We're looking at Wendell Carter Jr. And I got to say, I like the name Wendell or Wendell. No, Wendell's an Australian way of saying it. Wendell Carter Jr. I like it. I don't know what he's doing with the goggles, though. The goggles have gone missing, I think, and I missed those. But enough about that. Wendell Carter Jr., what am I betting on? I'm betting on his over 11.5 rebounds and assists today. Now, he's only hit that in 5 out of his last 27 games. So you're probably thinking, like, what's the angle here, my boy? Well, the Orlando Magic, obviously missing a ton of players with injury. Who they got? or who don't they have? Franz is out, Suggs is out, Mo Wagner's out, Goga is out, Gary Harris is out as well. So there's a lot of guys who would normally play a stack of minutes for them. They're all missing in this one. So Wendell Carter Jr., he's projected to play 33 minutes in this game. So what I did is I looked at games where he plays at least 30 minutes. I think you'll see 30 minutes at least in this one because it's a 2-point spread. 1.5 point spread, actually. So it's coming in a little bit closer. The Magic are favorites, not expected to blow the Raptors out. And I love it. It means he should get a lot of game time. But if we look at the games he's played this season, where he's played at least 30 minutes with Paolo Banchero in the lineup, we can see here that Wendell Carter Jr. averaging 13.2 rebounds and assists in those games. He's hit this line in 4 out of 6. If we just look specifically at his rebounds, which is 90% of this prop, you can see that he's hit this in 5 out of 6 games, averaging 10.5 boards. So you could just look at rebounds as a straight prop on its own, but I do like the combination, and here's why. Looking at his assists, firstly, he's only hit the assist line in 3 out of the 6 games. He is averaging 2.7 assists in these matchups, but the Raptors, they're allowing the 4th most assists to centers over their last 15 games. One thing I love about this in these games is Wendell Carter Jr., especially since Banchero has come back from this most recent injury, he's averaging 5 potential assists per game. And I got a little bit saucy with it here, playing with Props Madness. If we're just looking at his assists, looking at his potential assists here and just checking things out, when he gets exactly 5 potential assists, check this out. He's averaging 3.5 assists per game. He's hit this line in 5.5 out of 6 when he sees exactly 5. Now, I'm saying he's averaging 5 in a matchup against the Raptors. Chances are he exceeds his average in terms of potential assist volumes. So I think the assist is a real sneaky spot here, and this is why I'm adding it on top of the rebounds. I think he finishes on 10, 11 boards. I think he gets 3 to 4 assists in this game. So I'm taking the rebounds plus assists here for Wendell Carter Jr. Now, you know me, I don't just rely on the numbers. I go back and I watch film and stuff like that. And Wendell Carter Jr., a typical big man, how is he getting these assists? He actually creates a little bit more than others. So there is a lot of handoff action. If he's going to score off the handoff action, you need someone like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to come off those screens, off those handoffs, and hit those mid-range jumpers. So we're relying on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to make a couple of buckets. Tristan Da Silva loves a backdoor cut. Wendell Carter Jr., pretty adept at catching it in the high post, finding Tristan Da Silva under the basket. And in any pick and roll situations, if there's pressure on the point guards or Banchero, they hit Wendell Carter at the top of the key, and he can find some shooters in the corner as well. So there's a few different ways that he can get these assists, a more accurate passer than some of the big men that I've been betting on. So I do like it. I think the assist is a sneaky thing that takes this line over, but I think he can also cover this 11.5 in just rebounds alone. He's going to get a ton of minutes. His matchup is pretty good. Wendell Carter Jr., don't let me down, my boy. In the next pick, we're heading to the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Denver Nuggets. It is not an Embiid versus Jokic showdown. There's no Embiid in this one. A matter of fact, the 76ers could be missing a few players. Drummond, Yabusele, George, they're all game time decisions. But today I'm looking at Nikola Jokic. I'm betting on the big dog. And today I'm looking at his rebounds plus assists. You can catch it at 21.5 on DraftKings. I took this at over 22.5. Regardless, I think Nikola Jokic can eat this alive. Now, he's projected to play 35 minutes in this game, and the minutes are very important when you're looking at lines this high. Projected to play 35, but there's a chance that there's a blowout here. The Denver Nuggets, 13.5-point favorites at home against the 76ers. So given the amount of fisting that I took in the last slate because of the blowouts, I'm really trying to factor those into the bets. And I looked at the games where Nikola Jokic is part of a blowout. And if the Denver Nuggets are blowing another team out, he plays between 30 and 35 minutes. So if we look at the games where he's played between 30 and 35 minutes, you can see it here. 13-point win, 20-point win, 19-point win, 27, 22, 30, 19, 27-point loss, 26-point win, 15-point loss. So when the Denver Nuggets are getting beat up, Nikola Jokic plays 30 to 35 minutes. He doesn't often find foul trouble, so I'm not too concerned about that. But the blowout is a definite risk here against the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, he's hit this line in 4 out of 10. If you get the 21.5, he's hit this line in 6 out of 10. The hit rate is pretty average, I must say, but the matchup here against Philadelphia is fantastic. Firstly, just looking at his assists, the line's at 9.5. What I love about it is this. Domantas Sabonis and Alperen Şengün, they both had 7 assists against Philadelphia 76ers. These are your budget versions of Nikola Jokic. I'm not going to look at other types of centers and see how they performed. I really wanted to see how these guys had performed against the 76ers, and they dimed up. They both covered their assist line 42% higher than their closing line for that game. So I think Nikola Jokic has a great opportunity here. He's going to have a mismatch every single time. The 76ers are not going to let him play one-on-one. I think Nikola Jokic absolutely dimes up in this one, so I do like him to smash his assist prop. What I also like is his ability to smash this rebounds prop. Now, it's at 12.5, and he hasn't necessarily hit this when he doesn't get the minutes. But this matchup here is a fantastic one, and this is why. Usually when Embiid plays, you don't want to bet the opposition center to get boards, right? He's going to get them into foul trouble. He'll take them away from the basket. You typically want to take your wings and your forwards to get rebounds against the 76ers. But with no Embiid, you can see it here throughout January, even just their last 4 games, centers against the 76ers have been eating. Brook Lopez, line at 4.5, gets 7. Miles Turner, line at 7.5, gets 11. Jericho Sims covers his line of 7. Isaiah Hartenstein, line at 10.5, he gets 16 rebounds. I just feel, with no threat at the center spot, Nikola Jokic is just going to be chilling, just going to be cruising out there, picking up a ton of rebounds, ton of assists. I do like his over 22.5 rebounds and assists. If you don't like that play, you could just look at his triple-double, because I'm ultimately saying he's going to get more assists. Over 9.5, you could look at a triple-double, might be plus money, but, I'm just taking the rebounds and assists. It's probably more widely available for everybody else, but I do like Nikola Jokic to eat, and I've taken the blow into consideration, and hopefully Nikola Jokic just gets real busy early in this game, but I'm taking a bet on the big Serbian today. And the last play, we're looking at the Washington Wizards versus the Los Angeles Lakers, running with Jonas Valanciunas. And I just want to vent for a second, right? I bet on Jonas Valanciunas against the Golden State Warriors. I liked his points plus rebounds. He shot 2 from 9 in that game. I was foolish to not even consider him for the next game. Check out this bounce back. 23 points against the Sacramento Kings, 9 from 11. Absolutely chews them up and spits them out. But versus the Lakers today, I'm not betting his points prop. I'm only looking at his rebounds. We're looking at over 7.5 boards. Now you can see it here. His recent form has been fantastic, but that's not necessarily why I'm betting on it. Jonas Valanciunas is projected to play 19 minutes in this game. I wanted to look at a range of 17 to 23 minutes. So if he's awful, he'll probably only get 17 minutes. But if he plays great, like he did against the Kings, they'll play him up to 23. The one thing I like about this is the spread here is at 12.5. There is a blowout risk in this game, but someone like Jonas Valanciunas is blowout proof. Whether the Wizards are killing him or they're getting killed, Jonas Valanciunas tends to play the same type of minutes anyway. So looking at 17 to 23 minutes, and you can see that he's hit this line in 19 out of his last 27 games, averaging 8.7 boards. I also like the matchup here that he's got against the Los Angeles Lakers. They allow the 3rd most rebounds to centers over their last 15 games. What I also like about this is Jonas Valanciunas played the Lakers last season, and if you take a look at his games against them, he covered this in 3 out of 5 games. But one of the games that he didn't cover in, he only played 7 minutes. So if we look at the games where he plays at least 17 minutes, which I think he does, he actually covered this line in 3 out of the 4 games. He averaged 7.8 boards. So a bit of historical help there. His recent form is fantastic. He should see the minutes he's projected to. I don't see why we don't take it. Jonas Valanciunas over 7.5 rebounds. So if you want to talk value plays, I almost forgot to bring it up, to be honest. We got Jonas Valanciunas up. Let's talk about it. Another prop that I also like for Jonas Valanciunas is his assist prop. Running the same thing, 17 and 23 minutes. He's covered his 1.5 assist line in 17 out of 27 games this season, averaging 2.1 assists when he sees these type of minutes. He's also got a great matchup here against the Lakers. So on the season, the Lakers allow the 7th most assists to centers. Looking at their last 15 games, the Lakers allow the 3rd most assists to centers. So the matchup's not too bad here. And part of the reason why the Lakers allow so many assists to centers is just because they suck defensively. Their defensive rating is pretty poor. Jonas Valanciunas is not going to be out there like Nikola Jokic. I can guarantee you that. But it's just a whole lot of handoff screen, a lot of handoffs and screens, catching the ball at the high post, kicking it out to shooters. And what I also like about it is, look, similar types of players. Well, these are just centers, actually, who have played against the Lakers as of late, have got the dimes. Like Zubac, line of 2.5 gets 3 assists. Bam, line of 3.5 gets 5 assists. Wemby, 3.5 gets 5 assists. And you can see it here in the numbers. If Valanciunas is getting the time, chances are he can get these assists. So hopefully Jordan Poole's making his shots. Hopefully they're getting these buckets off these handoffs from Jonas Valanciunas. So I think the hit rate's fantastic here. So what's the value play? I'm just betting Jonas Valanciunas over his rebounds, Jonas Valanciunas over his assists. Those two, if you put them together, you'll get plus 200. I'm running those at half a unit. So I've got 1 unit on Joe Val to cover his rebounds, and I've got half a unit on him to cover his rebounds and to go over his assist prop as well. So that's a very simple value play. Hopefully we can cash that sucker. I think I've got five value plays already sent out to VIP. So if you want to check that out, the link for that is in the video description below. Pumping the brakes real quick to ask you guys to like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment down below. You know I love reading, you know I love commenting and reacting with you guys. It also helps this video get pushed out to more people. All hail the almighty algorithm. So let your boy know. Say anything you want. It goes a long way in helping me out. You guys have been loving the leans. You made that very clear in that last video, so I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to try to hammer them out real quick because it is late as hell. I'm probably uploading this an hour later than usual, but you know, I had to get deep into my bag, make sure I'm doing thorough research. So we'll smash through these leans. I'll tell you why I like it. I'll tell you why I don't. And if you want to bet it, go ahead and bet it, my boy. That sounds interesting. Let's go. All right, we're in the Washington Wizards versus Lakers game anyway. I've got 2 different leans in this one that I was considering, so I'll start there. First one was Jordan Poole. Wanted to take him over 19.5 points. He's projected to play 33 minutes in this game. If you look at his numbers when he plays between 30 and 35 minutes, his hit rate is insane. Check that out. Jordan Poole over this line in 13 out of 15 games. It's absolutely cracker. He scored 34 and 29 points against the Lakers last season. He's got a decent matchup as well. Jordan Poole scoring a ton of points in transition. This Lakers team, old, slow. They're not slowing down nobody in transition, so he does have a great matchup there. If we just wanted to look, I'll show it to you using a props madness, when he versus the bottom 10 teams in terms of defending the transition game, you can see he's over this line in 7 out of 9 games. The 2 games he went under were against the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies, they have a top 6 defensive ranking, whereas the Lakers, they're in the bottom 7. So Jordan Poole has a great matchup for this one. The only risk I see is a blowout. So Jordan Poole is not blowout proof. So when the Washington Wizards tend to get blown out, Jordan Poole plays less than 30 minutes. So that's my main concern, because if I change this filter and look at games where Jordan Poole plays less than 30 minutes, he's only hit this line in 4 out of 13 games. Like when he's getting blown out, well, not him specifically, but the Wizards, he's not going to get his minutes. So that's the only concern that I have. So if you think the Washington Wizards can keep it close enough for Jordan Poole to see 30 plus minutes, smash his over in points. I think it's a great look, but I wanted to share plays with you guys that were kind of blowout risk free, in my opinion. But Jordan Poole, I love it. The risk is a blowout, though. The other one in this game is for Anthony Davis. And for Anthony Davis, I was looking at over in his points or over in his rebounds. And it's a simple fact is this. Don't worry about his hit rate. It's got nothing to do with it. The Washington Wizards defense around centers absolutely sucks. Check this out. For the points prop, for players very similar to Anthony Davis, from Sabonis, Şengün, Jokic, and Bam Adebayo, these guys have a 53% difference between their actual points to what their line is. Like, they absolutely blow their line out of the water because this Wizards team's defense around bigs absolutely sucks. Anthony Davis should absolutely kill them. And it's very much the same thing with rebounds. The Wizards give up a ton of rebounds. Similar players to AD, 9 out of 10 of them have gone over their rebounds line. So for AD, I'd be looking at a big game in his points, a big game in his rebounds. My only concern here with Anthony Davis, he is projected to play 37 minutes, but if there is a blowout, he's not going to do that. The other thing is that he's a game time decision. He's got a new injury. He had a foot injury. Now he's got calf soreness. So that's my concern with AD. Like, does he play the minutes? Does he play aggressive? Does he do what he needs to do? Like, Anthony Davis has upset a lot of people this year, pretty much throughout his career, a lot of sports bettors. So that's my concern here. It's the only reason why I haven't placed it as a bet. I'll see what I'm going to do with it, because I think Anthony Davis can have a huge game here against the Washington Wizards. I'm just not sure. One, does he play, and how does he play? That's the only concern. But the matchup doesn't get any better here for Anthony Davis. So if you do like it, feel free to ride the brow. I'll leave that up to you. Another one that I did really like was in between this Blazers versus the Heat game. And I was very close to betting on this, but we're looking at DeAndre Ayton. And I wanted to bet on his double-double, but we're mainly looking at the rebounds here because his points line is a lot higher than 10. His rebound line, 9.5. So he's projected to play 33 minutes in this game. Klingon is out, and Rob Williams is a game-time decision. I looked at his games between 30 and 35 minutes, meaning if he doesn't get the 33, then he might get 30, but if he plays a little bit longer, fair enough. We're just removing all the outliers here. And you can see it here in this hit rate that DeAndre Ayton, He's covered this line in 14 out of 17 games when he plays 30 to 35 minutes. He also scored 10 plus points in every single one of these. So just by looking at the rebounds prop, we're saying he's had a double-double in 14 out of 17 games when he plays 30 to 35 minutes. Now, the Heat, they allow the 6th most rebounds and the 5th most rebounds to centers over the last 15 games. 9 out of the last 13 centers, very similar to him, have gone over their rebounds line against them. So all of that's ticking the boxes. I was very close to betting this. Now, the risk in this game is a blowout. Like, it's a 10.5 point spread. It's just moved to 11. So 10.5 when I was doing my research. Now it's at 11. So a lot of people are betting on Miami to cover this spread. And if there is a blowout, the Blazers have been blown out many times before, but if there is a blowout, DeAndre Ayton is not going to see his game time. So if you look at the games where he plays less than 30 minutes, you'll start to see the trend. He doesn't hit the double-double. That's fine. The 30 minutes a magic number. He's only had more than 10 rebounds in one game when he plays less than 30 minutes. And what's the common trend in these games? 28-point loss, 18-point loss, 6-point loss, 8, 24-point loss, 20-point loss, 42-point loss, 45-point loss, 25-point loss, 23. So if there's going to be a blowout and Miami absolutely pump the Blazers, DeAndre Ayton's not getting that double-double. That's my concern here. But if you think the Blazers can keep it close enough for DeAndre Ayton to see some minutes, then your boy's going to eat. I think the double-double is a fantastic look. Another one that I was considering here, for those of you who like unders, looking at Grady Dick in this one, under 12.5 points. You can catch this at 13.5 in some places. Doesn't make too much of a difference. But his recent form, gone under this line time and time again. He is getting close to it, though. I will say that. But his matchup is awful. Orlando Magic. Fewest points to spot ups, fewest points to above the break threes, third best defensive rating. The Grady Dick's got an awful matchup to get points in this one. He played the Orlando Magic earlier this season. Actually, about 3 weeks ago, he played 30 minutes. He only scored 8 points. He was 2 from 11. In this game, he's only projected to play 25 minutes because in that last one, RJ Barrett wasn't available. RJ Barrett will be playing. So Grady Dick shouldn't see any more minutes than 25. I didn't hate it. I personally just don't like betting unders as much. But if you like betting unders, I think Grady Dick, that might get your attention. Another one in this same game is Scotty Barnes, looking at his assists. And the main angle here is if you look at the games without Emmanuel Quickly with RJ Barrett, he's averaging 7.9 assists. This opened at 5.5. It got absolutely smashed by all these closing line value guys. I'll talk about closing line value another time, but it's now moved to 6.5. It's plus money at 6.5. And I think it's an interesting look. The challenge here is that he does have an awful matchup up against the Orlando Magic. They do allow the fewest assists in the league. So we're kind of torn in between both worlds. Scotty Barnes, he absolutely dimes up when Emmanuel Quickly's not there. But he's got his toughest matchup to do so. Now, he can do it. He's had really tough matchups without Quickly in the lineup. He had 8 assists against the OKC Thunder, third fewest assists allowed. But he only had 6 assists against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they allow the 4th fewest assists. Now, he's up against the Magic, who allow the fewest. That was my only hesitation. But he should see the time. It's a 1.5 point spread, so he should see the game time. I personally still lean to the over there for Scotty Barnes. It's a plus money play. I honestly don't hate that. I think it makes a ton of sense. Another one that I was looking at here was Banchero. We're still in the same game. Yeah, Paolo Banchero. Looking at his points or his points plus assists, either way, you're going to see the same trends. You're going to see a lot of unders that he hasn't been hitting this since his return from his injury. Now, he is capped at about 30 minutes. He's going to see the same amount of game time in this game that he has been seeing recently. But the good thing is he's seeing the Toronto Raptors, and it's his easiest matchup that he's had to face since he's come back from injury. He is seeing volume. He's taking between 16 and 20 shots in every single game. But it has been somewhat difficult in the matchup sense. Up against the Raptors, who are very soft defense, he should be able to get to the free throw line. Banchero should be able to contribute well on the offensive side. But we'll see. 29.5 that has moved up to. Yeah, I'm a little bit cautious around it. It could be a popular play. It makes sense. But again, I'd like to see him prove it first. I don't want to bet on a guy as he's trending downwards. I'd like to see a little bit more oomph here from Banchero. I was trying not to call him a thick boy because a lot of you guys responded to that one last time. But that was one other lean that I did have. But on a small 5-game slate, not too much grabbed my attention. I was looking at Paul George and his assists, but then there's a chance that he doesn't even play. And if he doesn't play, how exciting is that? So Paul George been diming up as of late. If you look at his games without Embiid, you can see it here. He's over his assist prop in 11 out of 14 games. He's up against the Denver Nuggets. They obviously allow the most assists in the league. So I think Paul George can definitely get to diamond up. The 4.5, it looks like a fantastic play. My only concern is that he may not play, but if he does, I'm assuming he plays his full minutes. Like, he doesn't tend to play if he's not good. Every game that he has played that he hasn't got an injury in, the minutes have been fantastic. So this might be something that I still bet on. Paul George over 4.5 assists might be something I can muck around with. Rebound numbers do go up and down, but the PG assists it might be something that I still bet on. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But outside of that, what do we have? Knicks versus Nets. Who was I looking at here? I was looking at Mikal Bridges, and then I found Josh Hart. Mikal Bridges, lines at 16.5. It's relatively low. Up against his old team, he scored 22 and 21 points against them. He's got a good matchup to score some points. Spot up and transition buckets will be available against his Brooklyn Nets team. The only concern that I have around this is that it is a road game. I know that their arenas probably aren't too far apart, but Mikal Bridges' home and away form, it's gotten a little bit better as of late, though. On the road, he's been a beast lately, but at the start of the season, he was a beast at home. So it's kind of flipped, but it is a road game. He is playing better on the road lately. I didn't mind it, but I did like the Josh Hart look a little bit better. Let me show you Josh Hart for a second. For Josh Hart, I like his PRA. The hit rate on his PRA is fantastic. He should see a ton of minutes because he is Josh Hart. Blowout or not, he should get a lot of game time. So I was a little bit torn. Do we like Josh Hart? Do we like Mikal Bridges? I do like them both. Jalen Brunson, he has a difficult matchup to score points. The Nets, the best team at defending the pick and roll, man. Well, they allow the fewest points to pick and roll ball handlers. Brunson has cooked them once this year, though, and he's playing insane at the moment. Karl Anthony Towns, he's got a somewhat decent matchup to score some points too. So trying to pick who in this Knicks team is going to cover their line could be a little bit difficult because they've got, 3 to 4 really capable scorers up against the Nets. Plus there's an 11-point spread. Who knows what's going to happen there. But yeah, that's pretty much all my leans. It's only a 5-game slate, but I still invested a lot of time in making sure I get the right research done. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Every one of you guys is helping me out. I appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.